What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another week of the Sports Degenerates podcast. If this is your first time listening to us, make sure to also listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or Spreaker. We are also on Twitter at the Sports Degens and Instagram at Sports Degenerates Podcast. And finally, you guys can also watch us on YouTube, and make sure to follow us on all these platforms, and also make sure to like this episode no matter where you're listening to us or watching us. Also, if you want to watch us on YouTube, it's just look up the Sports Degenerates podcast and we'll be right there. And you guys know us as always. I'm Tyler, got good buddy Matt Holderman next to me, and also we're just a couple college students that we love listening to sports, watching sports, anything to do with sports. So here we are. We decided to make a podcast about it because we can go on and on about sports all day long. Matt, how you doing?
Yes, we can go on and on all day long. Tyler, I'm actually feeling kind of comfy this week. We decided to retire the Patriots jersey
For now.
For now,
Yep.
everyone. And now I'm in the Robe of Shame, we're going to refer to it as.
Yes, that is what we call it. We're calling it the Robe of Shame. That's because Matt lost another bet this week, and he's looking fabulous. Let me tell you, if you guys are just listening to this, it's a beautiful fuzzy pink robe with nice black polka dots. So just imagine our good buddy Matt Holderman wearing that. It's fantastic. But hey, let's jump right into things. We'll talk about that bet. We'll get into this bet in a little while and talk about our bet for this week. I want to start out with the Celtics here, Matt.
Sure, yeah.
So with the Celtics, there's a lot going on right now. Obviously, like we talked about, the Celtics are just one game above 500. They dipped to 500 a couple days ago, and they're still not playing great, which is, I think, still something to worry about for sure. But there's a lot of things going on. I think one of the big things that's going on with it is one of the main players that helped the Celtics' early success this season was Jaylen Brown. And I was talking with my brother the other day, and he brought up a really good point that I want to talk to you about, is that Jaylen Brown, every month, his points per game average has decreased. So December is 28, January is 26, and now February he's down to 23. And also his field goal percentage as well went down. So in December is 56, January is 51, and now February it's 45. Are you worried about that with Jaylen Brown?
Well, I mean, a little bit, certainly. I think our audio got a little behind there. Apologize for that.
No problem.
If I was delayed, but yeah, a little bit. I would hate to see Brown sort of regress a little bit back to what we saw last year. But ultimately I think he still made a huge step up this season, and still saw him lead the way in the Celtics victory last night, actually. 27 points, 55% field goal percentage against the Nuggets. I think Brown is still almost like leading this team. I don't know if he's better than Tatum, or their go-to guy like Tatum is still, or not. But I wouldn't worry too much. Certainly don't want to see him regress too far, though.
Yeah, I was arguing with my brother yesterday that I think it's more of, I don't know. I think it's less of the fact that Jaylen Brown is struggling, and more of a product of the whole team struggling, and it's just wearing off on Jaylen Brown. The whole team, none of the team is playing very well right now. Jason Tatum isn't playing his best basketball. Obviously, we know that Kemba isn't playing his best basketball at the moment. So I think it's more of a matter of, it's the whole team isn't playing well, and Jaylen Brown just also isn't playing well. That's what I would argue personally. But I don't know. I'm not going to get too worried about it yet. I still think right now he's averaging just over 26 points per game, which I think for him, as I mentioned before, I think that's a little bit of an overachieving for Jaylen Brown, because as I mentioned before, I think he could be a 23 to 25 point per game scorer normally, and right now he's over that. So I think I could see him coming back down to earth a little bit and ending the season averaging like 23 points per game. And but so I wouldn't be too worried about it yet. I don't think he's going to end up being a 20 point per game scorer. So I think there's that. And also I think a big reason why he was playing so well before was there was like 2 weeks that Jason Tatum wasn't playing, and obviously Kemba Walker wasn't playing either. So it was really just when Tatum was in and Kemba wasn't, it was really just them two leading leading the offense, so he had more opportunities. Now that Kemba's back and Tatum's back, they're sharing the ball a little more, so you're not seeing him get those 33 points a night like he was back in the beginning of January.
That's true. I think that's a good point. It's comparable to James Harden last night being by himself without Kyrie or KD, and he put up 38. So yeah, I see what you're saying there. Maybe we will see, uh, him to go down a little bit just by having the other stars back in the lineup. That certainly will probably happen. But um, yeah, overachieving like 26 a game this year. He had 20 a game last year,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, that's right. 6 point jump. So I mean, that's awesome. I'd love to see him stay at this level, and I think he can. But definitely the team themselves need to play a bit better in order for that to happen. For him to keep up that pace, kind of be at a level with Tatum. I've loved what I've seen out of him this year. I think he can keep it up. I don't see him dropping off too much more, uh, unless Tatum really just takes over, or Kemba does. But I don't know about Kemba right now.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. I don't see him dropping off more than he is. Yeah, my brother keeps saying that like he thinks that my brother did admittedly say that he thinks Jaylen Brown is a better player than he thought he was going to be,
hmm
but my brother just tends to think that Jaylen Brown is only going to be about a 20 points per game scorer, which I just tend to disagree with. I don't think that it's going to be that problem with Jaylen Brown that he's going to really level off and come back down to earth. I think the most back down to earth he's going to come to is maybe like averaging 23 points per game this year, which is
Yeah,
exactly what I want to see out of him. That's everything I could ask for out of him.
that's fine. Yeah, I mean, at this point to date this season, he's been really good. He's an all-star starter right now. I think like
Yeah, he
one
is.
of the top, certainly 15 players in the league. I mean, you can't hate on him. Can't hate on him too much or expect him to go down. Really, he's at that level now. And I think he's gonna stay there. Maybe even go up more. He's young still, so we will see.
Yeah, I agree. Um, but I want to move on a little bit with the Celtics here, and obviously we're talking about Jaylen Brown. Talking about how they're struggling, and we're getting closer to the trade deadline. And I think a name that's kind of that actually I haven't seen that many people talking about with maybe the Celtics trying to trade for him is Blake Griffin on the Pistons because the reports came out that the Pistons are going to sit him until his representatives and the team are able to figure out what's going to happen with his future with the team. And Blake Griffin is a player I wouldn't mind the Celtics trading for. He's definitely past his prime for sure. He's not what he used to
Yeah,
be his first few years on the Pistons, and obviously not what he used to be when he was on the Clippers. For sure, he's not an all-star player anymore. I've actually, if I'm not mistaken, he was an all-star player last year or the year before, so he's not too far
I think
removed.
so. Yeah, his first year with the Pistons, he was out there averaging 25 a game still.
Yeah, I
He
I
just dropped
wouldn't
off bad.
I wouldn't mind seeing him on the Celtics. Just don't be giving up like a Kemba Walker for him. Yeah, I'm having my
Yeah,
problems with Kemba Walker this year, but don't give up a Kemba Walker for Blake Griffin. I wouldn't mind giving up some of the younger guys on the bench because I think that's the big problem with the Celtics, as we talked about before, is that they don't have any proven talent on the bench and all these young players. Actually, I don't remember who I was talking about this with. Is that I think their big problem with the Celtics is that a lot of their players, besides Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Marcus Smart, Kemba Walker, and you could argue Peyton Pritchard, is they're all players um, that like you keep saying, all right, they're gonna start taking the jump and be like those really good depth pieces, but like you're still waiting on it and they're just playing all right. Like they need more proven talent on this team, like down the roster. You see championship teams, they don't have very many of those like these younger kids that you're like, all right, they're gonna start performing soon. Like they have talent all throughout the roster that can contribute to the team. And some of these players, you don't. There are times that like you want to see more out of them. So I think Blake Griffin could give you that if you get rid of I don't know who you'd trade, maybe like a Carson Edwards, the first round pick, and somebody else, whoever it might be for Blake Griffin. I don't know if the Pistons would take that, but either way, I wouldn't mind seeing him on the Celtics. I think he would be a boost, uh, albeit not a huge boost, but I think he'd be a boost.
Yeah, that's a good example too. Carson Edwards in the first. I could see the Pistons taking that, definitely. They're not a good team. They need to get some good draft picks or just a bunch of them, go full OKC Thunder mode on them all.
Yep.
But yeah, it's definitely an issue for the Celtics not having a lot of talent on the bench in general, really. Peyton Pritchard, we love. He's great, but he's not a huge scorer yet. Nothing like that. I'm looking at last night's game, and they had only 4 guys come off the bench: Neesmith, Robert Williams, Pritchard, and Green. All kind of small names. Edwards didn't play or anything like that. Who else? I'm forgetting Jeff Teague. What's up with Teague? Is he
Yeah,
he
I don't
just
know.
sucks, right?
He's not that good. He's not
Yeah.
that good.
So yeah, I mean, I think of Blake's former teammate now, Derrick Rose, like going to New York. Oh,
Yep.
that's huge for the Knicks having someone like that on the bench. And there's so many other teams who have certain bench players, like the Warriors, for example. They benched James Wiseman, and now they have two centers like Wiseman and someone else starting the game. So you know, Celtics could certainly improve there.
For sure. They can definitely improve. And two teams that don't really need to improve are the Nets and Lakers. That's our matchup of the week. That's coming up tomorrow. We're recording this podcast on Wednesday here. That should be a super interesting matchup, Matt.
No doubt. Yeah, that'll be great. It'll be interesting to see if KD or Kyrie play. They're questionable.
Yeah.
But if they do, oh man, we could have quite the matchup. I also don't think Anthony Davis is playing, but has that
Okay.
potential.
Yeah. All right.
Um,
That'll bring us to our bet of the week this week. All right. Let's see to see who's going to wear the new robe of shame going forward. Let's talk about it. I mean, I'm going to go personally here. I'm going to go with the Nets. As much as I don't like the Nets, and as much as I think the Nets are going to fail, I'm actually going to go with the Nets. I think even if they have Kyrie and KD out, obviously, like you said, the Lakers don't have AD. I think the Nets can do it. I think the Nets can win this game.
well, it might be a bold take, but we know Harden is a great scorer. I mentioned it earlier in the podcast. We saw him put up almost 40 against the Suns
Yeah.
yesterday. So hey, I can't doubt James Harden. He's won games by putting the Rockets on his back plenty of time before. Um, I'm I'm gonna go with the Lakers then. Obviously, though, I feel like that's a safe pick and the safest I might be in a while of not having to wear this robe of shame or a Pats jersey. But can't doubt LeBron either. Even if AD is out, AD's had a little bit of a down year. He's still AD though. I like LeBron, taking over by himself. Honestly, like it's worked so far. They won yesterday against the Timberwolves, sure, but Lakers are the Lakers. They still have the second best record in the league. I'm feeling good about this one, Tyler. I don't know
Okay.
about you.
I'll give you this. I think the Lakers. What helps the Lakers more is that they're a lot deeper than the Nets are. So if
Oh,
they,
certainly
because
better defense too.
exactly,
That's a
much
big
much
thing.
better defense. They don't have AD, but they still have LeBron. I don't remember who else they have. They have Dennis Schroeder. They have
They got
they
Montrez.
yeah, Montrezl Harrell. Yeah, they just have a ton of depth on that team. That honestly, a lot of those players would be starting on other teams that they're players that are on the bench. That goes back to my point on the Celtics that
It does.
the Lakers are just so deep. That's what helps them win games. As long as you have LeBron, who still best player in the world, if you have LeBron going and then those other players, they're fine. They're going to be fine.
Yeah. The
But
GOAT
I'm
Alex
still
Caruso too.
exactly.
Can't
But I'm still
forget.
taking. So that's why I can understand your pick. But I'm still going to take the Nets because even though the Nets don't have that same depth because they traded all of it away to get James Harden, I think that James Harden is such a huge volume scorer. He could do it by himself.
Yeah.
I mean, I could see him. There could be a game that he drops 50 points. Other players on the team might drop some drop, like, I don't know, like might have one other player drop 20, another player on the team drop like 10 or something like that. But I think that that Harden can get it done himself against the Lakers.
Yeah, it's a fair thought, honestly. I could see it happening. And even better if KD and Kyrie are playing, Harden will just do what he's done and sort of take the distribution role,
Yep.
help Kyrie out. We've seen Harden. I've said this before. He's like the triple double guy almost. It seems like he's always there for the rebounds and he's assisting all of Kyrie's shots. Kyrie is just a shooter. That's all he's good for, pretty much. It seems like.
Yep.
He's not good for much, but he can score. So yeah, it's going to be a great game depending on who's in it. And even if it is just Harden and LeBron, that's great. I see them both scoring over 30, putting up the big
Yeah.
numbers. Man, can't wait. And can't forget on the Nets, they do have Joe Harris.
They do.
And Jeff Green, I believe his name is. Don't want to botch that.
Yeah,
yes,
it's Jeff Green.
Jeff
It's Jeff
Green.
Green. He doesn't do anything.
Joe,
though.
not a ton, no. But Joe Harris,
he's been
nice.
on like every.
He's
Other,
all
he's
right.
been on like okay, yeah. But Jeff Green has been on every other team in the league.
Yeah, it's a little
that.
depth though. That's a little bit.
Yeah.
It's still nowhere
Yeah.
near what the Lakers have. I
Right.
agree.
Yeah.
But we'll see how it goes. The Nets have to be feeling good knowing that I'm betting against them. Am I right?
Yeah, for sure. I just want to say I really don't want to be wearing that robe of shame. I do not want to be wearing that robe of shame. So I'm really hoping
comfy
you lose
though.
again.
It's soft. It's
yeah. It might be comfy and soft, but I don't want to be wearing that thing. I do not want to be wearing
pink
that
cheetah
thing.
print.
Come on. God.
Come
yeah.
on.
No, thanks. I'm all set with that. But
don't knock it till you try it. Me and LeBron are gonna force you to try it, man. Let me tell
you. Yep. But hey, like I said, I'm taking my chances. You've lost every bet except one so far. I think I'm looking pretty good with this pick.
Yep. I mean, you definitely have momentum on your side. I was hoping I'd get a lucky bet to go my way. Like, say, I had the underdogs in something. I kind of thought Kyrie wouldn't put up as good numbers as Harden, but I thought, maybe he will. And no, he didn't. Like, thought I might get lucky there, but nope. Anyways, that's in the past.
Yep. All right. So let's talk about obviously these are two like the best teams in the NBA going up against each other tomorrow night. Who do we think is some of the other top NBA teams? I think right this season the NBA is so stacked right now at the top. You could look right at the Eastern Conference that the Celtics are one game above 500 and they're in fourth place. It's tight right now. Obviously, we were talking earlier about the Nuggets, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the Nuggets.
Yeah, we mentioned them losing to the Celtics. I love just an individual player first instead of a team. I love what Jokic is doing this year. Holy crap, did I underestimate him. I saw his name being tossed around as, like top 5 player going into this year. And I thought, no, like he averages 20 and 12 a game, but I don't know if he's that good. No, he's the best player in the league right now. Straight up.
He is.
He's wild. It's not translating to a ton of wins though. The Nuggets aren't even a top 5 team in the West.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say the Nuggets. I meant to talk about the Jazz. I don't know why.
Nuggets,
I don't know why I got the Nuggets and the Jazz confused. I don't know what I'm.
There are a couple of middle of nowhere teams. We were talking about the Jazz off air. Man, I found this stat just looking through their game schedule the past couple months. They haven't lost more than one game since January 6th. We're
crazy.
talking one loss in the last 5 weeks.
That's insane.
Like a 20 game stretch. Oh, they're 23-5 overall. The Jazz are wild, and they, like the Lakers, are doing it with depth. I think. They don't have a huge superstar. Donovan Mitchell's great, but he's certainly no Jokic or LeBron or anything like that. They just got solid players. Great center with Rudy Gobert. Some other guys that can contribute. Bojan Bogdanovic. I definitely messed that up.
I think you were actually pretty close, believe it or not.
Close.
Bogdan Bogdanovic. That's it.
Yeah. Oh, I got the wrong Bogdanovic. Well, he's there. Lots of guys on the Jazz. I'm surprised they're overachieving, like big time. I think.
100%. Now, I want to ask you, who do you think right now? Give me your top 5 NBA power rankings in the NBA.
Okay, Jazz have to be number one.
Of
Like
course.
being the best record in the league with the people they have, which is way less than the Lakers. Oh, Jazz up top, no doubt. Lakers number 2, defending champs, easy number 2. Number 3, I almost want to say Philly. They've been on a bit of a slide lately.
Yep.
Lost a couple in a row, but Embiid's playing his best basketball ever. Simmons is starting to look up a little. Tobias Harris having a good year.
Yeah.
Philly's top of the East right now. Fourth and fifth, I'd I'd say I guess Brooklyn. They're I guess I'll put them fourth.
Okay.
And after that, it's a toss up. The Clippers are an easy choice because they're 21-8, but they're missing Kawhi and PG right now. I think they're gonna lose some games.
Okay.
I'll put Phoenix number 5. How about a Phoenix shout out?
Really?
The
All
Suns
right.
are doing good. A lot of people expected them to be in the playoff race this year, and they're well in it, man. I like what they're doing. Chris
Yeah.
Paul and Devin Booker, they're on the rise.
Okay. That's pretty bold.
It might be.
My list is similar, just a little different order. I'm agreeing with you. Top 2, Jazz and Lakers, definitely.
Oh
Now,
yeah.
here's where I get different. Number 3, I'm going Nets. Number 3.
Nets, okay.
Number 4, I'm going with the 76ers.
Mm-hmm.
And then number 5, I agree, is the tough one. I'm gonna have to lean Clippers again.
Sure,
I know
yeah.
you kind of leaned away from the Clippers and went with the Suns, but I think those are just the best teams. Obviously, like we talked about, Jazz right now, definitely the best team. Lakers, but I would definitely put the Nets there just simply because of how good they are and how much star power they have on that team. So I would put the
Yeah.
Nets. I would put the Nets there, and then like I
Yeah.
said, 4 being the 76ers. 76ers, like you mentioned, playing great this year, top in the East at the moment. And then, like you said, the easy choice would be the Clippers for number 5. I think easy choice sometimes is the right choice. I'm going with the easy choice there. Number 5 is the Clippers. So, all right, let's move on a little bit. We have another about 5 minutes here, 5-10 minutes talk here. I want to talk about some actually NFL. I know the NFL season's over, but there's a lot of interesting stuff happening, and I think to me, there's 2 interesting to be free agent defensive players. JJ Watt, obviously, everybody knows that news that the Texans released JJ Watt. But this one is starting to kind of make the rounds, is that apparently the Broncos might not re-sign Von Miller, so he might become a free agent. And that's huge for a lot of NFL teams that are looking for defensive players. Obviously, as a Patriots fan, let me tell you, that is my biggest dream, to somehow get JJ Watt and Von Miller on the same team to play on this Patriots defense. Not a chance is going to happen.
Oh no.
I mean, here's the thing. I could actually realistically see the Patriots getting one or the other, possibly.
Mm-hmm.
But both definitely not. But oh my god, I would love it if both of them would come to the Patriots.
No, the Pats have to get. Surely they're going to get at least one big name player this offseason, right? I would imagine. But I'll tell you, if any team has a chance of landing both of them, it's Tampa Bay. watch Von Miller and JJ Watt both go to Tampa to party with Brady and Gronk. I would hate it. I would hate it just as much as you, no doubt.
Yeah. You know what? I could actually realistically see Von Miller going there.
Yeah, totally.
But probably not JJ Watt. But if they both somehow went there, I'd be so mad. I'd be so mad.
The entire league would be upset.
Yeah, they would be.
Somebody would have to. Oh god, this is a wild comparison, but what the Miracle on Ice? Am I thinking of something different when like somebody broke somebody's ankle back in the Olympics to like knock them out of competition?
Yep. That was Olympic figure skating. That was Nancy Kerrigan. I don't remember the other lady's name. It was a conspiracy that her boyfriend or something like that broke Nancy Kerrigan's ankle. Yep, that was figure skating.
So not the Miracle on Ice.
Definitely not the Miracle on
Ice. That's a reach and a half, I know.
Okay.
But somebody needs to do that to Brady. There we go. All right. Someone needs to do that to Brady. That's all.
Okay.
That's the only way to stop him.
That was we just got kind of dark there, Matt. Just like, someone needs to go and break Brady's leg. Alrighty then.
I'm still upset about the Chiefs.
Okay, we're gonna move past that, I guess. There are rumors. I don't remember what Patriots reporter tweeted this. Is that there are rumors that the Patriots might be trying, and Bill Belichick might be trying to build a defensive powerhouse again, similar to what he did in the early 2000s, and rely less on a quarterback, which you can't do. You can't do anymore, Bill. Like, don't get me wrong, I don't mind, like, because they're saying is maybe like sign a lesser quarterback or trade for a lesser quarterback or draft a younger quarterback that might not be great, and like I said, build a really great defense. You can't do that anymore. You saw that with the 49ers. 49ers had a fantastic defense and couldn't keep up with the top offense in the league because they just didn't have an amazing offense. You need something better than what you have right now. I think if the Patriots are able to get a good wide receiver or two, and also do that and get a decent quarterback like a Marcus Mariota or something like that, then yeah, sure, go for it. But you can't do that. I can see them building a great defense, and I would love them to build a great defense. But you need a better offense, and you definitely had this year to complement that. And I don't think there's any way that they can win without having at least a good uh, quarterback. And it just really, in general, like that brings me back to the final point that I'm going to bring up here, is that it really makes me mad that the Patriots for years and years have always been about being ready, being ready for the next thing that happens. They'll always trade players before they fall off, and they'll always draft the next player to like fill in their shoes. And they absolutely dropped the ball with the most important position in all of sports on their field, quarterback. Um, like you would expect Bill Belichick to be ready. Obviously, Tom Brady was getting older, to have some sort of backup plan. And Tom Brady left, and they just got left with water in their hands. Everything just fell out. They had no plan. They waited. Cam Newton might be coming back. No one knows what they're going to do this year. It doesn't even seem like the Patriots know what they're going to do this coming year when it comes to quarterback. And it really something that upsets me.
Yeah, audio behind again. Sorry, but
You're fine.
it's a great it's a great comparison. Honestly, you're literally just water falling through their hand.
Mm-hmm.
They it's surprising to see. Like I'm thinking about that now. You just blew my mind. Whoa, they really didn't have a backup plan at all. Maybe their backup plan at first was Stidham, but they just didn't really have faith in him. As it turned out. Um, and man, Cam Newton, like that wasn't a great backup plan if that was it. They've dropped the ball, and they will improve somehow this offseason, I truly believe, but can't make up for all of it in this one offseason, I don't think. Some part of the team is going to get better, no doubt. Some positions filled, but
Yeah.
yeah.
I agree. But I will say one thing I'm mentally preparing myself for is the first round of the draft. Obviously, I want to see them draft a quarterback, move up in the draft a quarterback, or even draft like one of the top wide receivers. But I'm fully prepared at 15 for the Patriots to either trade out of the first round for some reason, or
Mhm.
draft like a offensive tackle or something like that, and just
Draft a kicker.
exactly, and make me just sit there and be like, really, this is what we're doing again. I'm fully prepared for that. And if any Patriots fans are listening, I'm sure plenty of Patriots fans are listening right now. You should be ready for that too.
Mm.
But that's what we're going to leave you guys on. We're going to leave you guys on that high note of the Patriots drafting a tackle in the first round. But we will see what happens. Thank you guys so much as always for joining us. It's been a pleasure this week. Hope you guys all have a good week, and we will see you right back here next week on the Sports Degenerates podcast.